Chat, are we live? Yes, we are. What is up, people of the internet? It is me, Real American, back in with a new stream, and that is right. We are live on this beautiful, what is it, May 30th? May 30th? Yep, May 30th, 2025. I hope everyone's having a great day. I'm having a great day myself, and we are joined by Mr. Real Texan Politics.
Hello.
So, everybody, we have a lot to talk about today, a lot of economic numbers, the Supreme Court doing stuff. We got to talk about a lot of stuff going on. There's a lot of stuff happening in the world. So, yeah, let's get right into it. But before we get into it, don't forget to like, subscribe, share with your friends, and, of course, join the channel today. All great ways to support the daily content. And if you have any questions, concerns, or want to support the channel even further, there's one of two ways you can do that. Either becoming a member at America First Insight. Again, America First Insight proudly sponsors a stream, and you could use a code REAL when becoming a member there and help support the content. And, of course, sending super chats. Now, you may notice we have a donation goal now. I just decided, you know what, why not? A lot of other people do it, so why not? Again, if we reach it, we reach it. If we don't, whatever. So, it's a donation goal, so... All right, enough of that, guys. We have a couple super chats to read. Let's start with a glitch Eevee for 5. Pray for DJ Daniel. It was recently reported that he has 3 more tumors. This was a kid Trump shouted out at the State of the Union. Oh, is that real?
I'm assuming it is, yeah.
Oof, that sucks. I feel bad for that kid.
Yeah.
I feel bad. I mean, like, 3 more tumors? Gosh.
Yeah, I know he's kind of basically been touring the country, meeting with, like, every police force that there is, every governor there is, so...
I feel awful. That's horrible. You know, it's like, dude, can they just stop with the tumors? That's just, man. There's nothing really I could say to that. And, hold on.
Who's here? Aliens is here.
Aliens
nice.
just joined. Hello.
Hey, good morning, guys.
Morning.
Spikes.
Spikes for 2. Is Rhode Island a sleeper flip at 26? I saw that poll. I don't think so.
We'll see. I think the other thing, I mean, he might get prime right now. We'll see.
Yeah, I mean, what's his approval like? Freaking, what is it like?
19 or something. Yeah. I think it was.
It's pretty bad. It's pretty bad right now for the governor of Rhode Island. Yeah, it's pretty bad. Yep, it's pretty bad. American Nerd for 5. To paraphrase a great Andrew Jackson, the court has made its decision. Now let them enforce it. Yes, I want to talk about this. This is the point of the stream that I want to get into because it's very pathetic what's happening right now. Obviously, everyone knows, but for those that live under a rock, we have a big court problem in America. Where the judicial branch is just saying, nah, we can do what we want. And what's it been like every day there's been a new decision for these courts no one ever heard about? It's like every single day there's a new one. It's like, who ever heard of the International Trade Court? I didn't even know we had that. Did anyone here know that? I didn't. So, yeah, we're just having random courts just pop up out of nowhere, and they're... Yeah. And they're just going to keep doing this until somebody does something. And the question is, what should Trump just start
basically European globalists? Basically, they're going to control our politics now.
Yeah, I mean, we're to a point now where it's a bunch of globalists running the show. That's what's happening. And I
guarantee the International Trade Court is probably from like Switzerland or something, or France.
Well, no, it's here in America actually, but it's like
I thought it was one of those like, oh, well, shit. All right.
No, it's a real court, but it's literally just a globalist court basically, because it's just like, oh yeah, if Trump does something we don't like, just go through that court, I guess. It's stupid. It's utter insanity. All right, K-Cup for 5. Americans, we elected President Donald John Trump to lead our country. Random judge. No, you didn't. We must protect democracy. Americans, what? Yeah. That's what's happening.
I tweeted out how long it was going to be until some judge basically rules that Kamala Harris is the rightful winner of the 2024 election.
Just wait. It's going to happen. It's going to be some random judge in like Seattle or like Massachusetts that's going to say, actually, President Trump is illegitimate because we said so. But,
so Kamala Harris must be inaugurated on this day.
Yeah, we'll see. Sean Jamilo for 2. What do you think about Jeff Cloyer, Kansas governor? I don't know who that is.
Well, he got endorsed by Ben Carson, so that's
a good
something.
That's
but
good.
Collier was a former governor of Kansas before. Yeah, I gotta look into him.
All right, yeah. So court stripping. Yeah, I think at this point, Trump's got to start ignoring these judges because, like I said in the video yesterday, if you adhere to these rulings, you're just legitimizing it. You're just legitimizing what these courts are trying to do. I mean, just like, what was it, 2 days ago? He said, yeah, we're going to bring back the deported people or something. It's like, wait, what? Why are we bringing these people back?
The entire court system is its legitimacy is predicated on it being an impartial authority.
Yeah.
But then you look at these judges and they're like fat women with like short hair, and you just like know how they're like going to rule on everything.
Well, you're not wrong. Anytime Trump does anything at this point, like, it's a joke, but seriously, when are they going to say that Harris is the legitimate president? What's going to happen?
All right, so Jeff Collier is the former governor of Kansas.
Yeah.
He actually only served for basically a year because he was the lieutenant governor for Sam Brownback from like 2018 to 2019, or from 2011 to 2018, and then Brownback, I think, was appointed to something. What was he appointed to?
I don't know.
Oh yeah, ambassador at large for natural religious freedom under Trump's first administration. So Collier did run for a full term in 2018. He lost the primary to Kobach because Trump endorsed Kobach at the last second, and Kobach won by like 100 votes in the primary.
All right, and
then Kobach lost to Laura Kelly.
Yeah,
and
so
Laura Kelly
I guess if Ben Carson's backing him, sure, why not? Sure.
Yeah, but I think it is a fairly crowded primary because besides from him, there's also Scott Schwab, who is the current Kansas Secretary of State.
Yeah, whoever wins that primary is the governor for life, because
and Schwab is very famous, in fact, because his son was killed in the Schlitterbahn, Kansas City accident.
Oh, really?
Yeah, so
I did not know that. All right, Inari for 5. No taxes and overtime passes Senate to get signed. Lib judge. I know you don't. That's literally what happened with the tariff stuff. Like, it was like a bill in the 60s and 70s where it's like, yeah, the Congress delegates all the powers on tariffs. And these judges say, oh no, Congress has power on that. But they delegated it. It's a scam. It's so obvious what they're trying to do. They're trying to hinder Trump at the worst time. I mean, they do this right after the EU basically said we're going to do what you want. It was like the day after. It's like, oh yeah, by the way, the EU's going to bend over. And now you do this ruling? Yeah. It's a scam. But you know what Republicans in the House are doing? I know what they're doing about this?
Nothing.
They're sending strongly worded tweets. Jim Jordan of Ohio, who, Jim Jordan's a pretty good congressman. He's pretty good. But his problem is he always does this. He says, a nationwide injunction is like an umpire calling a ball and strike in Cleveland and having that pitch apply to a different game in San Diego and Houston and everywhere else. How is that fair? Dude. It's not fair. Do your damn job. I don't get why these clowns are not doing anything.
These people are all actors.
True.
I don't think that they really believe in half the things they say.
Well, I mean, it's like Jim Jordan. You're the chairman of the Judiciary Committee. Do something. You have the power to do just anything. And all you do is this strongly worded tweet. Oh, the balls and strikes. You're in the House. Do they just think they gotta just send these strongly worded messages and the courts will do something or nothing? I don't get
none
this.
None of these guys have the it factor. None of them want to challenge the system. The only one that did was Matt Gaetz, and he's out of there already.
Yeah.
I hated him.
Yeah, Matt Gaetz got forced out. All right, American Nerf.
No, it's just a bunch of mostly like spineless Republicans who are left in there. And I mean, it's a great thing that it did pass the House, but it looks like the Senate's going to kill the big, beautiful bill.
Well, it sounds like it's going to get better from the sounds of it from what I heard. So, we'll see, though, because I don't trust Senate Republicans. I don't.
I don't trust them either. I mean, our majority is very thin, considering there are 2 Democrats who have Republican next to their name.
Yeah.
At least.
All right. American Nerd for 2. Should we run Kobach as any more basic? He can't win statewide for governor. He just can't. Kobach's great and all, but he just can't win statewide. K-Cup for 2.
That guy to take the call.
That's
Anyways.
fine. K-Cup for 2. Realistically, what can actually be done here? Well, you could start stripping courts. That's the easiest thing they could do. Start stripping courts, start cutting funding, and then If you want to, just start impeaching them. It won't pass, but at least you're trying. But yeah, they could just strip courts. The House and Senate could do that, but they're not doing it. So,
because big government.
Yeah,
I don't think they care about like Trump's agenda at all. I think that they kind of just want to return to the status quo, and I think that's the deal they got, I guess, when Trump got elected. Is okay, yeah, we have hated this guy for years. We know the courts are probably going to block everything he does, so we're just going to shove about it and let it play out. And
they'll still vote for everything Trump does.
I think that if push were to come to shove and Donald Trump were to ignore the courts, that they would probably turn on him.
Oh, yeah, they'll say, oh, the Donald Trump is destroying the system. He's ruining democracy or some crap like that. Even though these unelected judges are just running the show at this point. So,
yeah, they really are. And you know, it's coming to a point where like people like us who often are immersed in media and like reading the news and seeing how many times these judges are blocking Trump, we see like how badly they're doing him with these judges. But the average person's going to think, oh, Trump just ignored the courts. He's a dictator. And
yeah,
like that's going to be the headline for like the average person who doesn't often read the news. That's sort of like the drawback if Trump were to ignore the courts.
But at the same time,
which they're very obviously pushing him to do.
But at the same time, a lot of people realizing, oh wait, these judges out of nowhere are making these insane decisions. But I do think there'll be some backlash, but I don't know if it'll be that much considering what these judges are doing.
There may not be. I mean, people have been really shifting against sort of like the current system of American government for the past few years. So I think there's also a real possibility that Trump ignores the courts and people don't care.
I mean, that's always been like the X factor.
That'd be a great thing. I mean, it's okay because it's Trump after all.
Yeah, just
my position.
Like, if people are not going to turn on Trump for anything, would they really turn on him for this? I don't think so. All right, correct mode for 5. What do we win if we reach the donation goal? Can these funds go towards a presidential campaign? No, it's just a donation goal. If we reach it, we reach it. But you know, just to support the content, so it's greatly appreciated. If you don't send one, it's fine. Just just random goal. I thought, why not?
Okay, let's get into some other news.
Object Clay's cater for. Oh, sorry. Object Clay's cater for 2. You think conservatives would do more if Jordan was speaker? No.
He would have to, I mean, he'd probably still have to cave into their demands. Yeah. So, I mean, that's the problem. Even if one of our best becomes speaker, they would instantly become Morano, basically.
Yeah, and that's the problem. We need a bigger majority. Like, if we had a 10-seat majority, I think Mike Johnson would be way better. If we have even a 10-seat majority. Because, you have to worry with Thomas Massey and freaking, Lawler not so much, but it's like Don Bacon you have to worry about.
The Marjorie Taylor Greene wing as well.
Like, that's the problem. American
if you have to make Marjorie Taylor Greene, Mike Lawler, and Thomas Massey happy, it's just...
You just can't. And you piss one of them off, there's like 2 or 3 that'll be pissed off also, so... American Nerd for 2. How many judges should be replaced? I bet a lot. All of them. Just get rid of all of them.
Yeah, Trump is the sole judge.
Yeah, make him the judge, jury, and executioner. I agree with that. But you know what? The thing with Trump is, like, now he's calling it out. Now he's just calling it the Federalist Society. You guys see that? He literally said the Federalist Society sucks, which, good. About time somebody said this. For those that don't know, the Federalist Society...
I think it also does mean that he regrets. He regrets calling me Barrett.
Yeah, not so much Kavanaugh and Gorsuch. Well, Kavanaugh it was gonna be Kavanaugh and bust for that one. But Gorsuch is pretty good most of the time. Yeah, the only really bad one is Barrett. At least Kavanaugh sometimes does the right thing, like the abortion stuff. But still. Yeah, and yesterday Trump he called it the Federalist Society. He called the right here. He called it the Federalist Society. He said the person running it named Leonard Leo. He calls him a sleazebag, a bad person who in his own way probably hates America and obviously has his own separate ambitions. Good. Guys, the Federalist Society, they control the judges, at least on the right. Every judge a Republican picks, it's always a Federalist Society judge. And the Federalist Society, have they done one good thing in 50 years? They made one good pick. I guess Alito and Thomas, but still. Actually, were they picks? They must have been, but I don't know.
So, want to get into some other news here. We got an update from the Diocese of Charlotte.
Oh gosh, that whole
Oh,
30,
isn't that?
32,
I heard about that. I'm not even Catholic,
Uh,
and I've heard about
So
that.
okay, let me explain this.
32 priests are being reassigned.
Yeah, okay. For those that don't know, obviously some people are not Catholic in the chat. So basically, in the Catholic Church, there's some questions about like the Latin Mass and all that, the traditional stuff. But most of the time, like they kind of don't go insane over it. Some do, but people are starting to realize we want the Latin Mass and stuff. But the point is, if it's still there, they don't usually shut it down. Well, this bozo is a Charlotte, right?
Yeah, which is basically just all of Western North Carolina.
Yeah, it's
because
just
there's
the
only two
entirety of this.
dioceses in North Carolina.
Yeah, it's like half of North Carolina, and this judge is literally saying there's no Latin Mass, it's illegal. There's no this sort of garments they can't wear, which is insane. And it's like this is not real worship; it's actually fake. Even though that's not even what Vatican II says. For those that don't know, Vatican II is a big stink. But the point is, Vatican II does not say crap like this. This bishop's just saying, "Oh, I don't like that. No, getting rid of it." And it's pissed off a lot of people. It's like they're closing down churches that are more traditional. They're reassigning a bunch of priests now. It's a scam. What's happening? And
Wait,
the worst,
so what is Latin Mass?
it's literally in Latin. It's literally in Latin. It's the traditional mass.
Oh, why is it in Latin? Shouldn't it be like in English?
Okay, so the Latin mass was a mass for like 1,000 years or whatever. So, and then they went for a more they reformed it, but the Latin mass still is just Latin. So it's just the traditional way to do it. You know, there's some differences, but
So do they like speak Latin?
yeah, it's really in Latin. So
Okay, I can't wrap my little evangelical brain around this.
yeah, no, it's just in Latin, but it's the same thing. But this judge is most of the time people like it more. It's more traditional. It's like more reverent. But Mike for 2. When can we have an emperor? I'm ready for it. Soon. Baron Trump. Wait 20 years. American Nerd for 3. Teddy Roosevelt called judicial reform back in 1912. Did he? I did not know that. Probably did.
All right, so the other thing we want to discuss is King of the Hill.
Oh, King of the Hill, yeah, reboot. I saw it. You know, I liked the first series, but we'll see. We'll see.
Yeah, and so apparently part of the storyline for the new one is that between the old series and the reboots, I think Hank was outsourced to Saudi Arabia.
Wait, what?
Yeah, he was like outsourced to Saudi Arabia because of the oil.
Oh, bro.
And his house was replaced by a black guy.
I think Judge knew what he was doing. That's the
So a black guy moves in, and I mean the neighbors are still there, but the black guy moves into the house, and then eventually he leaves, and Hank Hill returns. But apparently, this new series is going to be probably mainly focused on Bobby, who is an adult now with children.
probably. All right.
So
Yeah, they're gonna. It's Disney, so I don't trust them. But hopefully, they don't screw it up. Hopefully,
I don't think. I think Disney's only involved in distribution.
I guess
They're gonna turn Bobby
It's
into
Disney
Barbara.
Plus.
They're turning Barbara. That's real.
I think it's mainly Hulu that's in charge, but I could be wrong.
Yeah. Inari for 2. How about Novus Ordo in Latin? There's no real point. Novus Ordo is like the new mass. It's like in the like English or whatever language. So, it wouldn't make any sense if you're gonna do the Latin thing. Just go full blown like Latin, like. So, I don't know.
Ann Richards was actually a guest on King of the Hill one time.
Yeah, I saw it. I know that. All right.
Yeah, like the actual governor Ann Richards had a cameo. I think actual voice cameo.
Huh. American Nerd for 2. Do you speak Latin rap? No. I want to learn it though. So.
I used to know Pig Latin.
Oh gosh. All right. Disney's bringing back a lot of old shows. Yeah. The problem is I have some concerns about some of it. Like, I hope they don't fuck up Hank and King of the Hill. Phineas and Ferb. Yeah, that looks bad. I love Phineas and Ferb. It looks like they screwed it up. Amazing World of Gumball looks good, but we'll see. Those are good. Those are shows I used to like, but
I'll judge it by the clips. I was a big fan of Phineas and Ferb and Gumball as a kid. So I'll just judge them by the clips and see if it's worth watching.
yeah. Hank Hill's a blue-haired feminist. I mean, it looks like he didn't age whatsoever. You know, it looks like hasn't aged a day.
I think Luann did, Phil.
Yeah.
Or Peggy, sorry, Peggy.
American
Oh yeah,
Earth,
some people are mentioning the Lilo and Stitch movie as well.
I haven't watched it.
I've heard that one. I've heard they completely fucked that one up beyond repair.
I watched it, and I'm gonna be completely honest. I didn't think it was that bad. Like it's not as good as the original for sure, but I think it's in the better side of Disney's live action remakes, which isn't.
I think the
saying
problem
much.
though is that they completely changed the ending.
Yeah, that was my probably.
They
like
changed the ending. Are you serious?
They changed it a bit. Yeah, there's no Gantu, but
bruh.
There was they did change it a little bit. In some ways, I think it was better. In other ways, I don't think it worked as well. But
All right, I'm sorry.
all I know is that it's definitely better than like some of their other live action remakes.
Cake up for fire. The black guy like cooking with charcoal. Tire screech. What's this? Adult Bobby is back. Hank appears. Here's propane country. Yeah.
Yeah.
They're gonna make a good joke with it. I hope. Like, I think the creator of the show knew exactly what he was doing when he had the guy Hank Hill replaced by a black guy. I think he knew exactly what he was doing.
Oh no, King of the Hill's woke. There's a black guy. It's woke. It's woke.
He's making fun of something, but we'll see. American Nerd for 3. Yeah. Mike Judge is great. Watch movie Office Space. I haven't watched that. Chance Drazik has joined the channel. Thank you so much, good sir. All right, so enough of that. I think we're going to talk about, though, yeah, the court stuff. Just hoping somebody do something, please. Will anyone take a stand?
I want to also briefly bring up Joni Ernst.
Oh, yeah. Before we get into the economic stuff, which is our big part, what did Joni Ernst do this time?
So at a town hall, which, again, was mostly attended by a bunch of old white Democrats.
Like I said.
The crowd basically is saying that people will die due to Medicaid and SNAP cuts. And Joni Ernst responds, well, we all are going to die.
Law.
You know, there's a reason why, despite everything going positive, Republicans could still lose the House in 26.
I mean, this is still the Senate we're talking about, but
these people suck. There's a million different ways to phrase this. Not, oh, everyone's gonna die. Are you freaking insane?
Well, we're all gonna die someday.
Oh my gosh. It's like, the Republican Party sucks. But you know what they could have said? You know what they could have said? They could have just said, oh, there's a bunch of people that are eligible to work on Medicaid and SNAP. That's all they had to say. Just say there's a lot of fraud and waste. Protect the people that need it, and get the people off that don't need it. That's all you have to say.
The thing is, if it weren't for Trump, Joni Ernst probably would vocally support Medicaid cuts. So.
Oh no, she would say, oh, we gotta get rid of Medicare, everything's gone, but more money for the defense spending.
Yeah, you need to work until you're 90. Because,
remember, she's the one that tried to sink Hegseth. Remember that?
Mm-hmm. And she fell in line because she was
Trump's like,
listen, she was extremely vulnerable for a primary challenge at that point.
And Trump is like, are you freaking insane? Remember, she did that because she wanted to be Secretary of Defense. That's what she was trying to pull there. And she thought, oh, if I try to backstab Trump and I, oppose it, he'll give me the nomination. This ain't Trump for 2016. He doesn't give a shit. So, yeah, this is the Republican Party, everybody. These people suck. Yeah,
so there already are. I think there's actually already a couple primary challengers. There's Jim Carlin. There's Jim Carlin, who's a former state senator.
Just get rid of her.
Funny enough, there's also Joshua Smith, who is a former vice chair of the Libertarian National Committee and a Libertarian candidate for president.
Yeah.
That's running as a Republican. Yep. But someone who's expressed interest to run is Steve Deese.
Yeah.
If Steve Deese runs, he might actually. I don't know if he'll get the primary challenge because Ernst fell in line in the end, but I don't know if he'll get the endorsement. Sorry, but
all right.
That is still something to watch out for. I wouldn't even say I don't know if I'd consider this a safe R race. It's probably in the likely column, but we'll see what the Democrats
These
nominate.
people suck.
Because obviously Rob Sand is running for governor, and that's probably going to be likely Republican because of him.
Okay, so enough of that. Just get rid of Joni Ernst. Can't you just retire, please?
She's probably going to hold that seat for a long time, unfortunately.
You know, and the
until
thing is,
I mean,
Like
she's
in
only in
the
her 50s.
game.
She's only in her 50s, so she's probably got like she's got like 40 more years left.
yeah,
in her.
she got some time left. You know,
she's going to be there. She's going to hold that seat until Emperor Barron terminates the Constitution, and she takes a firm stand against it.
But you know,
Chuck Grassley is literally 92, and he's I think set to die in office. Like I think he wants to die in office.
he wants to, and then give it to his grandson or whatever. So.
If Ernst wants to do the same, she's probably got like 40, 50 years left in the Senate.
You know, and the crazy thing is, like, despite Republicans sucking, they're still in a good place to expand their House majority in 2026. That's a crazy part about that. No, seriously, I mean, think about this. Democrats in the middle of April, they had a tiny lead. And that was in the middle of the trade stuff. And now it's going back to Earth, and it's like Trump's at like +7 approval. It's going back up even more. And the generic ballots, like...
The thing is that people approve of Trump. They don't approve of Congress.
I know. But what I'm saying is, like, even the generic ballots swing Republican now. It's starting, not saying it's like R+20 or whatever, but we're at a point now where the undecided voters, they like Trump, they don't like Democrats. The problem is, will they vote Republican? That's Trump or bust voter right there.
It probably depends on like whatever happens in the next like few months or whatever. Because you still, I mean, you have the 1BBB that's still lingering in the Senate. It's dead right now. The current version is dead.
Yeah.
So they're gonna have to revise it in order to get through. You know, I mean, Rand Paul's probably gonna vote against it regardless, but you got to try to get through the rhinos and everything else.
I believe that Republicans still have a big hurdle to overcome in that they can't turn out their low propensities.
Yeah, that's a problem.
That's what makes me like, if we barely won a majority with Trump on the ballot, I don't see how we're going to keep it with him off of it.
I don't know. It's just my argument's like, Democrats, obviously, they have their boomer vote. They're going to vote no matter what, but they're so hated now. That's what I'm saying. It comes out of turnout. If more people just vote to spite Dems, like they love Trump, that's the only way they can win. If they just vote against Dems and then they vote because of Trump being popular, that's the only way I could see Dems losing the House. And we'll see. We'll see. But it's a very unique situation.
Another thing, too, is that the Democratic Party is becoming more of a party of saying no. So even though they might not like the party, they might still vote for them just to like spite the Republicans because Trump is evil.
Yes, Orange Man bad.
But because Orange Man bad.
Yeah. K-Cup for 5. Give Democrats credit for ousting the ones who don't fall in line immediately. The GOP's an open border parties, in my opinion. Old Democrats and rhinos welcome. Well, again, like, the problem Republicans have right now is you still got so many shit Republicans like, well, you're right. It's like you got, let's see, you got Lisa Murkowski of Alaska. At the same time, you have a bozo like Rand Paul. By the way, Rand Paul, what is he doing? What the hell is that guy doing?
I don't know, but I think he's probably fallen from like a A or B tier senator to he's about to go down to like D or F.
Guys,
it's bad.
Let me pull this up. For those that don't know, Rand Paul, you know what his biggest criticism of the bill was?
It costs money.
But no. He explicitly mentioned what he had issues with. And take a guess what he said.
Didn't he want to like balance the budget with this bill or something?
I don't know. It's some bullshit like that, but he is mad.
It's all mandatory spending too, so it's not like they can even like. Has nothing to do with the Doge cuts. Yeah. The Doge cuts are going to be in the next bill.
It's still a net cut. And this bozo, he's mad because we're spending money on border security. I'm not exaggerating. That's what he said. He said the big beautiful bill increases military/border spending over $300 billion.
That's like the worst thing to say, like to object to the bill on.
The border security, that the thing that we voted for back in November.
We just put like landmines along the southern border at this point.
What? So he's mad that we're trying to secure the southern border. He's a libertarian, I guess it makes sense, but wow. I can't get over this. Again, I can understand the military stuff, but apparently that's like salary increases, I think, or something, for the defense spending. So he's mad about giving a raise to our troops and border security, even though there's still a net cut of like $1 trillion.
So I'll just say, if that's what he's mad about, he's not voting for the bill whatsoever.
No, he's not, because he literally wants to cut spending like 10 trillion or something crazy. It's insane.
I think he wants basically like zero spending.
Yeah, and you can't do that. Like Aliens was saying, like, this bill's mandatory spending. There's only so much you can do with it. Even Stephen Miller brought this up, and Mike Johnson. They're talking about, hey, we can't get the Doge cuts through because then we need 60 votes. We gotta go through a different process. And these dumbasses, they're lying. They know this. Rand Paul and Thomas Massie, they either are the biggest idiots on earth, or they're lying to the American people.
So, Massey's obviously done. His career's over. He's going to get right out. And Rand Paul probably will too at his rate.
Like a dumbass. You're the son of Ron Paul, and this is what you're fighting on? Really?
He's embracing he's gone full Albert at this point.
Yeah. Ron Paul would have never voted against immigration, border security. Never. At least not used as a reason. What?
Yeah, Grimsparrow's mentioning that. Yeah, I have a little pet cockatiel in the background. Sorry if he's making a lot of noise.
No, it's fine. All
I
right.
know he's squeaking. I'll try and calm him down.
It's fine. Mike for 2. Joni Ernst has 40 years left until she's average senator age. Yeah. American Air for 2. Surprised Democrats haven't split into 2 parties. Well, they're groupthink. That's why they haven't split yet. Jacob Martin for 2.
Parties don't split into 2 is probably ours.
What?
Never mind. Actually, if any parties don't split into 2, it might be ours.
Oh, yeah. That's true. Jacob Martin for 2. It's personal for Rand Paul that didn't endorse Trump in 24. Yeah, he did that shit where it's like he endorsed him after the election. Like, oh, I'm pro-Trump after the fact. Yeah, sure. Chance Drazik for 2. Rand Paul's not his father, unfortunately. Yeah, he's a disgrace to the Paul family. You're the son of Ron Paul, like an actual libertarian with a brain, and this is what you're fighting on? You're gonna start a shit fest over border security. Gotta love Rand Paul, everybody. Freaking dumbass. And you wonder, and this is why libertarians suck. This is why they get 1% every year. They don't understand. People want border security. And do they not understand that they could cut more spending by getting illegals off the system? Do they not understand this? So it's worth the investment. It's just freaking... love the party.
Senate Bill 18 in Texas that would have prohibited funding for libraries to host drag shows has died in the Texas House.
Of course it did.
Because again, Gene Wu is our speaker. Gene Wu controls the House. This is what happens when Democrats control the House. By the way, I basically live in a Democrat House states.
Yeah,
it's bad.
I regret supporting Rand in 2015 prior to Trump announcing ever wanting Trump to pick him as VP. Yeah, I used to like Rand Paul. I used to think he knew what he was talking about, but no, he's lost it. He's.
By the way, this is our last stream before Pride Month.
Isn't it kind of sad how a lot of the people we used to look up to like 8 years ago, like Ben Shapiro and Jordan Peterson and Rand Paul, how they've all kind of just like completely nosedived?
Yeah. I mean, Jordan Peterson, we didn't really talk about that. He's literally, it's like an atheist, no, I'm sorry, what does he call himself again? Like a freaking agnostic or some bullshit?
Well, what do you exactly mean by call yourself?
But it was a Christian versus atheist.
Yeah, it started as a Christian versus like 20 atheists. What?
Oh, no, I was just agreeing with you.
Yeah, no, it's like the original title was like 1 Christian versus 20 atheists, and it turns out he's just an atheist. He's like atheist light. He's like, oh, there could be maybe something. What's the point? And they had to change the title. They were forced to change the title to like Jordan Peterson versus 20 atheists. What's the point of having an atheist fight an atheist? What's the point?
I think they wanted to humiliate Jordan Peterson. That seems like
he's lost. He used to be somebody. He's out of touch. And a lot of these guys they don't understand. They still think it's 2015. They still think it's 2015 and 2016. It's not. All right, Mr. Clean for 5. This shows why Jill Stein demolished the Libertarian Party in 2024. Yeah. Why do you think the Libertarians took 5th or whatever? It's as if Libertarian philosophy sucks. K-Cup for 2. Donald Trump literally exposed everything. Well, yeah, he exposed how incompetent these people are. They have no clue what the hell they're doing. Very sad.
So, now, and I also want to talk about the New York City mayor election.
Oh, gosh. Yeah, we'll get to that before the economic stuff, because this is pissing me off now. Well, actually, I'm going to laugh. It should make me mad, but it's kind of funny what New York City's about to do.
So, Zohran Mamdani basically just released a very viral new ad about freezing rent. And here's the worrying thing. With a month left until the primary date, less than that actually, and with how much he is like rising in the polls, there is a very good shot he might be the front runner when we get to election day.
He's gonna win the primary.
It's starting to look like he might pull off the upsets.
So yeah,
I think it entirely depends on which age demographic is going to turn out, because this is basically a boomer versus millennial election.
Yeah, and freaking the only hope for Cuomo is he runs up with Hispanic voters. That's his only hope at this point. Because yeah, this poll for Emerson College, Cuomo's up by 8 now, but just 2 months ago it was like plus 30.
The thing is that he's basically refusing a campaign. He's basically banking on name recognition because, he was a former governor. He's the son of a former governor who has a bridge named after him, Mario Cuomo.
Yeah. It's like, we're at a point now where if Mamdani wins, New York is screwed. If he wins a general, he really wants him. These morons really think that if you freeze rent, that's going to lower costs. You know what's going to happen? Any landlord's just going to say, fuck this city, I'm out of here. I'm just going to sell to some company like BlackRock. It's going to happen.
Honestly, is it a terrible thing if they get radicalized?
Well,
people get radicalized against the left because of this.
Well, I've seen the argument that this could be like Miami-Dade 2.0. It's like, you get some nut job in there. Well, it didn't happen in Miami. It was demographics and stuff. But it's like, can you imagine? It's a second coming to Miami where it's like, oh, they all swing like 30 points Republican in New York City because they voted for this insane schizophrenic. And these dumbasses on Twitter, they really think this is a good policy. I have an idea. How about not having insane regulations in the city? How about having, like, these morons will do anything but build actual housing. I know it's New York City, but still. This is insane. So I'm rooting for Cuomo because do you really want Mamdani? Well, maybe. maybe for
I think the only pro that would come with this is that, if Mamdani does become mayor, which at this rate is probably what I would bet on right now, I think Stefanik probably wins.
Now, because a lot of people in New York City, they're going to say, fuck this. Because you know what's going to happen? Cuomo's going to run third party. Remember, he's already got the nomination for his third party. Same thing with Eric Adams.
Oh, yeah, he's already the nominee for, what is it, Fight and Deliver or something?
Yeah, his party.
More than likely, Zohran will probably be nominated for Working Families, whether he wins the Democratic primary or not.
Yeah, so Mamdani's going to probably win the general, but with like 30% of the vote, or like 40%. A lot of people are not going to be happy about this.
Yeah, and if Cuomo's the nominee, Zohran will be the
get a good turn of the vote. Good luck. Good luck, New York. This is your plan. You're going to nominate this nut job? The thing is, if this was a Democrat, like, a lot of Democrats in New York City, they're Republicans now. That's what's killing Cuomo. A lot of those moderate Dems, they're gone. They're not in the party anymore. So, yeah. But his only hope is is Hispanics. If Hispanics vote for Cuomo, he has a chance, which the poll has him up by 30. But
the other thing to look out for is Jews.
Yeah, that's weird. How are they breaking?
And I think a lot of the Jews in New York City are still fairly democratic.
Oh my god!
Or I think they're registered independents because they just vote for whatever the rabbi tells them.
What the rabbi says they vote that way.
Which is, I mean, that is a fact. I mean,
That's
because you either can have like Trump plus 90 or D plus 90, depending on the race.
yeah. There's like the once like township. It's like it was Harris or Biden. Or, Clinton got like 99% of the vote, and then Trump got 99% of the vote. That's what we're talking about. That's literally New York in a nutshell. They have that stuff.
Or like certain precincts in Brooklyn, basically.
Yeah, it's what the rabbi says, which is not a conspiracy, it's just a fact. That's how those communities work. So,
Mhm.
all right, Henry Hooker stand for 5. I bet Massey runs for POTUS in 28 against Vance, then gets a Libertarian nomination, then takes it to Simp. Now Miss Simp votes for Vance.
Yeah, it wouldn't surprise me if
He's gonna
Massey
run, I think.
actually did. I could see Massey being the Libertarian nominee in 2028.
American Order for 3. Ron Paul basic cool. Rand Paul weakened. Oh gosh, thanks to super chat. K Cal for 2. Thoughts on Wisconsin stuff removing the term mothers? Yeah, remember that stink from a couple months ago where Tony Evers trying to remove the name mother for the bill, like to impregnate a person or whatever. Now Democrats oppose it officially. It's like an official bill they're trying to pass. So that's
So back to New York, though.
hold
I
on,
think honestly, yeah.
a mic for 2. When New York just turned red at 20 if this freak wins, that's my hot take. If he somehow wins general, which I think he can, I hope he does it, but if he does, a lot of voters are going to say, screw this, we're done. We're done. Cherokee Bear for 5, it'll be worse than Chirac. Oh, 100 times worse. American
I mean,
Order for-
Brandon Johnson has like a 10% approval rating.
Yeah, but the thing with Chicago is like, the way it works in Chicago, it's always been somebody more radical than the person before.
Yeah,
So-
I know you have a lot of super chats. So I'm just gonna go ahead and save this right now because but I honestly think regardless of who becomes mayor, they will become very unpopular.
Yeah.
But especially Louis Zohran. Zohran will probably, I mean, he'll start off popular
I don't
just because
think so.
he's a progressive. We have new light in the city, and then once he enact the rent freezes, his approvals could go down to like single digits.
American Order for 2. Can Cuomo run third party after losing Democrat primary? Well, yes, he can. That's his plan. Same thing with
he's already a third party nominee anyways.
So Chance Drazik for 5. Why do some people think Rob Sand is unbeatable? Dude barely won by 3,000 votes in 2022. And governor's more partisan race, so that'll hurt him. Yeah, he's gonna lose, I think. It'll be closer, but he'll lose. I think.
He'll lose by like 5 at like the bare minimum.
Alright. I sort of don't understand why the Jewish vote is so unmovable. No, it depends which Jewish vote we're talking about. Because in New York City, they will swing like 100 points. I'm not exaggerating. They will
New
swing
York
like
City,
200
these
points.
are the Orthodox Jews. These are like
Yeah.
these are I hate to say it, these are the ones that you think of in like stereotypes.
But it's like whatever the rabbi says, which this is a real thing. This is not, I'm not bullshitting. It's like the Muslim vote, kind of. It's like whatever the rabbi says, they're gonna vote that way. It happens everywhere in New York. So, all right.
Basically the Jews that you don't think of are the basically I don't know, what would you call them?
It's like the secular Jews. Those are the ones.
The
that like,
secular Jews. That's what
they're super Democrat. Like they're like leftist, but
they're basically Jewish, but they don't really. They're
not
don't really
Jewish.
do
No,
much.
it's like they're ethnically Jewish or whatever. But American Order for 3. Doesn't New York have sore loser laws? No, actually, it's different though because you have the nomination already. So
About the most Jewish thing you'll see it from a secular Jew is probably a bar mitzvah.
probably. All right.
Okay, that's enough for me because I'll probably.
Yeah, it's like okay, we're kind of teetering on the edge here, but it's nothing you said is wrong. But yeah, New York City though it's like there's a lot of Orthodox Jews, and Cuomo better win them because
and it's not just New York; it's New Jersey.
Yeah, I mean this is the thing we're trying to tell people: if New York City goes to shit, New Jersey is New York City. If it goes to shit,
I mean, northern New Jersey, I think is fairly similar demographic actually, because there's a fuck ton of immigrants in New Jersey.
Yeah.
And you know how you can base off of that? Look at how many destinations the Newark Liberty Airport flies to.
Yeah, I mean, just look at
so many fucking countries. Like they fly to like what, Egypt and stuff. Like there's countries at Newark. There's countries you can fly to from Newark that you can't really fly to from anywhere else in America. Besides like New York, besides like JFK Airport, but that's beside the point.
Let's see here. Why did Jews vote for vote blue even though they're getting targeted? Well, no, it depends which. Like again, people when you say Jewish, that's kind of like a catch-all term.
Well, even then, I think the Orthodox Jews were ancestral Democrats before.
Oh yeah, they were 100%.
And I think a lot of it is just because Democrats were the party of the minority.
Yeah. but that's starting to change. So
Yeah.
Henry Hooker saying for 2, secular Jews mean like the Krasensteins. I don't know what they are, so I can't.
The Krasensteins, you know
I
the
don't know.
Krasensteins.
Yeah, I don't know who they are.
Yes,
But
you know. Yes, you know who they are.
no, I know who they are. I don't know what they are. I don't know what they are religiously. I don't know. So
I mean, I would imagine they're probably Jewish, but I don't know
Who
to what
cares?
extent.
American Nerd for 2. New York, home of the secret underground. Oh gosh.
Okay, that's enough.
All right, enough of that. We had definitely gone gone off the rails.
Once you mention that, we're done.
Yeah.
Okay.
So, but yeah, I do think overall though, with New York, just it's gonna be Mamdani, and John just joined the stream. Hello.
Hello, can you hear me?
Yes.
Yes, we can hear you.
Yeah,
we were just discussing the
I've
New
been
York City
trapped in a
mayoral election.
cage for 2 weeks. I took some drugs and I'm on the road.
Good job.
Based. All right, John, what's your thoughts on the New York City mayor race? Because it's looking
Oh, that New York City mayor race? Oh, that's a
it's
total
looking like a
crap
shit
show.
show now.
Isn't like the primary competitor to Cuomo basically trying to freeze rent?
Yes.
Holy
Yes,
crap!
and he might actually win the
Holy
upset.
crap.
He's gonna win the primary probably.
Yeah, because
Bro.
Cuomo's into it. Because Cuomo basically refuses to campaign, and I mean he's still got his scandals, with the women and such. Even though he's winning women in the polls.
Yeah, he's winning women somehow.
So
New York is actively trying to nuke itself. I think and that's why I have so much confidence in saying that like Florida and Texas are going to be way more powerful than New York and California. It's because of crap like this. Like if they elect this mayor.
Why do people even want to live in New York anyways? Anymore?
It used to be a
why
prestigious
would
city.
anybody want to?
It's easily prestigious. Now it's just
So basically in New York, the women are Cuomo-sexuals and the men are Yimbys.
Great. So yeah, the funny thing is, Mamdani's winning the white vote, which is just that this perfectly personifies what happened in 2024.
Yeah, because again, the whites are those are basically your millennial Yimbys.
Yeah, that's who he's winning over.
Which is also AOC's base. And by the way, I actually found this out very recently. Zohran Mamdani lives in AOC's district in Astoria, Queens.
Oh my gosh.
Which also means that if he loses the primary and also the general, he does probably have a bright future in New York City politics, which could include, if AOC runs for president, which I think she will, basically becoming her successor in Congress.
So we gotta deal with this asshole for oh my gosh, no. I don't want to deal with them anymore. Just get out of here.
And he would win the primary, by the way. I think he would win primary.
All right. Eggman and Fireman for 5. My Hispanic friend who's in Passaic County, who isn't even particularly political, told me recently he sees New Jersey going right in the next cycle or 2. I think Democrats are screwed there long term. I think they're obviously a lot can happen.
Honestly, I do think Citarelli wins at this rate, based on
look at the primary.
I mean, very narrowly. I think he's gonna pull off the Youngkin upset, and in the meantime, Virginia's
Virginia would just give up on it. Just give it to Dems already. Just give them the
because Winston Sears doesn't know how to run a campaign.
But yeah, so New York though. But I'm saying New York City, it's if the crazy thing is if New York City goes to shit even more, that screws Dems in New Jersey. Because people forget, a lot of people in northern New Jersey, they work in New York City. They have jobs there. It's why do you think it's one Republican?
Here's the other thing, by the way. I'm pretty sure Zohran also supports the congestion pricing.
Oh my gosh.
And if the Democrat nominee in New Jersey also supports it, which I think Fulop does.
Please. Yes.
I mean, if Fulop's the nominee and he supports congestion pricing, we will probably win New Jersey.
This is beautiful.
Because you have a lot of the commuters from New Jersey that drive into New York City for work.
A lot of them take
the subway. I don't know how many take the subway anymore. I'm sure they still do for the most part, but
all right,
it's probably dwindling by the day.
Rye Guy for 2. Is Zoran gonna build a mosque at Ground Zero? Oh gosh, thank you for the super chat.
I don't. Well,
no, he won't.
I will say he's also not far left enough on Palestine to some people.
Are you what?
How?
Oh yeah, because I think he said that Israel. I think he said he still supports Israeli sovereignty.
That's
my gosh! How is that how is that an issue-defeating thing for a Democrat? Are they really that?
Obviously, he still supports the ceasefire now. But
he supports Palestine. It's but he supports Israel's sovereignty. Oh, he's an agent of somebody. Oh my gosh.
Well, yeah, because it's these bit like the Hamas cultists that are like, one state solution. Palestine controls
Yeah,
all
one
land.
state solution.
Exile all the Israelis to Poland or whatever.
All right,
The Democrat base is poison to the actual party's possibility of being elected. This is so insane.
Oh my
And
gosh.
basically what I mean is like the Columbia Hamas cultists. Like they're probably not voting for Zohran anymore. They're
Yeah,
probably
it's
gonna
like
write in like
he's
they're
too
probably gonna write
conservative.
they're probably gonna write in like Free Palestine on their ballot or something.
Change was raising for 2. Abandon all hope. Ye who spend on Virginia. Yeah, don't give a dime to Sears.
I mean, vote for her, but don't. But I mean,
A package.
I mean, honestly, if you want to donate, if you want to donate to her, I guess I don't know. The party
I
should.
wouldn't. This is a good chat. APAC controls Zoran. Oh my gosh. Yeah, Democrats are allergic to winning. Yeah, Democrats are allergic to winning, and Republicans are allergic to having a brain. So it's.
I will say though, if the race is generally divided, I mean, Slywood could. I don't know. That's tough to predict. I don't think he's gonna win, but it could be somewhat close. It could be.
This is freaking stupid. I mean, he's not far left enough.
I mean, honestly, against Zohran, Staten Island's going to be hell Republican. Like, it might vote in the 70s for Republican. Like, Cuomo would probably be the only Democrat that would have been somewhat decent in Staten Island.
No, every time I think of, like, Republicans versus Dems, like, how one party's stupid and the other party's, like, insane, it's literally just, like, a movable object versus a movable force. That's literally what it is. Like, it's not like the immovable object versus unstoppable force. It's like the opposite. It's like, oh, yeah, both sides just suck, but who's gonna win? Who'll win that shit fest? I don't know. Alright, Zoran is a hammer. Oh, gosh. Thank you for this, chat. Zoran's a hammer of Zion. Yeah, he is.
Anyways, my prediction right now for the primaries, I mean, I think Cuomo will probably win all the initial rounds, but when he gets to the final round, it's going to be tight.
It's going to be a shit show.
Fuck.
Oh, gosh,
because
New York.
I think Zohran's only going to increase supports. Like, I don't think the rent freezes are. I mean, he could turn off some, but like, no one likes Cuomo.
Yeah,
no one likes Cuomo.
I just realized
just
they do ranked choice voting in New York, so we're not going to know the results for like a month. Oh my gosh, this would be a shit show. I'm gonna love it. I'm gonna love every second of this. Iowa offense versus Lincoln Riley defense. Yeah, that's a good way to put it. It's a good way to put it. All right, Dems got the wrong message for 2024. No, oh, really? They did? And think AOC's super electable because she's progressive and a populist. Yeah, it's like these dumbasses, they don't understand. It's like, yeah, Democrats, people are sick of the establishment, but don't run Mamdani who's saying we gotta freeze rent. You don't understand that that's gonna hurt people way more, right? Surely
it just sounds nice. It sounds nice, so they're gonna vote for it, and then they're gonna be happy. You know, isn't it wonderful if you don't have to pay more rent?
Oh yeah, they're gonna realize.
Won't you love it when your town turns into San Francisco and there's literally like a 30%, like a crazy percent homeless population because nobody, like there's a housing shortage? Because guess what? This is how awful real estate is. The prices don't go magically down. They just stop selling. They just stop using the property. It makes more sense to hold the property than actually put anyone in it.
It's going to be a long 4 years in New York City.
Yeah.
2029 is not going to come fast enough.
Good luck, New York. All right, American Earth for 3. I don't know what's more of a shit show, New York City race or Virginia. Oh, New York City, 100%. It's glorious.
Oh, yeah. I mean, and the primaries have already been decided in Virginia, so.
Yeah.
Except for Lieutenant Governor. I think Lieutenant Governor hasn't been. Actually, I think Democrat primary for Lieutenant Governor has been decided, but Republican has.
Have we seen, again, forgive my ignorance, have we had any polling that would show how the ticket might be split by the current mayor?
We don't freaking know shit. The primary is such a shit show. They're not even considered the general, I don't think.
I think we have, actually. Let me look. Eric Adams is included in polling, actually. Emerson College actually did poll the general election, both with Cuomo and with Zohran.
Really?
Yeah, so Emerson has Zohran. I mean, they have both Cuomo and Zohran winning the general election. That's just, I mean, because, first past the post. They do have Cuomo doing better. He's in the 40s. Zohan's in the mid 30s.
That's great.
Slee was second place at like 13% with Cuomo. Adams is like 10, 11. Walden, according to the most recent Emerson poll, is at 7.
They're gonna give the. I'm down. It's the next
Um,
year. It's gonna happen.
Zohran's at 35. Sly was at 16. Adams at 15. Walden at 6. 27% undecided. So Adams is gonna get a decent amount of votes. He'll probably get like maybe some of the moderates, like independents. I think he will get more of the votes, like more of the moderate Democrat votes. If
We'll see.
Zohran's the nominee, he could even. I mean, he could get like some of the Democrat Jews.
But we're not thinking right at this moment that he's ever going to be like a game changer where the Republican could have an in. We just think that it's probably just going to divide the Democrat vote a little bit.
It's such a mess.
Yeah, the undecideds will probably split like 3 or 4 ways. That's going to be kind of hard. Regardless, Democrats are going to win.
Yeah,
That's
figured.
It's just a matter of like what percent they get, because they may not get above 50, but we'll see.
All right, everybody. So enough for New York City. It's a shit show. I'm hoping for chaos. I listen. I just want that to be such a shit show. These dumbasses realize, oh, you can't vote down. You cannot vote for these people because you have to pick from Andrew Cuomo, Eric Adams, or Mamdani. Those your choices. Good luck, everybody.
Democracy looks so beautiful right now, doesn't it?
Yeah, democracy's great. It's gonna be glorious. But okay, I think it's time we get to the second major part of the stream, which was the economic stuff, because oh boy, a lot of narratives were busted today. So change of Drasic for 5. I think a lot of hate Reagan gets on here is overblown, as he and Trump have a lot in common, although Reagan's fans suck, Emperor Reaganite for instance. Okay, so the problem with Reagan is just the stuff worked in the 80s, but not now. It wouldn't work.
Well, yeah, that's one thing. Number two, one of the biggest issues for Republicans right now is immigration, and he was bad on immigration. Let's just be honest. The other thing about Reagan is that his legacy, in some ways, is warped by the people that worship him. Reagan, in fact, actually did, I believe, he imposed tariffs on Japan,
100%.
so that yeah, and so there's stuff like that where it's not just there's instances in history where someone is not necessarily a horrible president or a horrible leader, but their legacy and the people who follow them actually tarnish everything like kind of good that they did. That's Reagan.
Yeah.
That's Reagan to me. The neocons completely destroyed the Republican Party and actually threw our country into like a 30-year malaise. It's horrible. It's horrible, and the GOP was able to do that indirectly because of Reagan and because of how they interpreted Reagan's legacy. So that's it. That's the whole thing. He wasn't a bad president. He was a good president, but there were problems, and they're exacerbated by his fans who are insufferable.
Again, like Emperor Reagan, I like sometimes he goes on these hot and cold streaks. Some days he's like really on the money on it, but then some days just I don't know. I understand what he's saying, but
and like also keep in mind, why would Republicans have a more sour disposition towards Reagan nowadays? You realize the Democrats, Nancy Pelosi, Hillary Clinton, like these people abuse the name of Reagan every single time that they get every opportunity in public. They will use him to promote mass amnesty, to promote terrible economic policy, gun control. Like again, so his name is being abused a lot more than it deserves to be. So does that make sense?
Yeah, again, guys, like Reagan was good for his time. I understand the nostalgia from the 80s and 90s. I get that, but when you realize the long-term consequences of Reagan, like Reaganomics, it was a disaster. It was. So, yeah. But okay, so I think we got to talk about the economic news that broke today, because remember when everyone was saying that the tariffs were going to cause 80% inflation? Remember that? Well, inflation falls the lowest in years. The core inflation falls to the lowest in years. And in fact, there were some inflation indicators today that showed that for the first time since COVID, the supercore PCE, which is an inflation indicator, it went negative for the first time since COVID. In fact, before COVID, like in like 6 or 7 years, it went negative.
It's the Biden economy.
Yeah, the Biden economy surged. It's fixing everything. Yeah. So the Fed right now is behind the curve. It turns out everyone was full of shit. Remember when everyone was saying the 80% inflation? Remember that?
Yeah, that's the Trump economy.
Yeah, the Trump economy. So inflation's way down. In fact, it's going down. It's not just decreasing. It's negative now for the first time in years. And on top of that, income rose. For the month of April, personal income increased by 0.8%, which, okay, on paper doesn't seem like that big of a deal, but that's 1 month, and it tripled the expectations. Yeah. So, where's the recession? The trade war is going to cause Great Depression 2.0.
It's coming, guys. It's coming.
That's new cope. I remember this. Back in April, they said by the end of April, we're going to see a gigantic crash. We didn't see it. Then they said, oh, wait a month. It's May.
We're still dealing with the effects of the Biden economy.
Yes, the Biden economy is surging. Even though, at this point, it's a Trump economy.
Realistically, at this point, the only thing that could kill the economy is our very incompetent senators in Congress.
And the Fed.
That's pretty much it.
And the Fed. The Fed's being worthless right now. Which, I mean, like, seriously, cut the rates already. This is stupid. So yeah, right now, income is going way up. Inflation's going down. This is literally what we voted for.
And I saw you repost. Didn't CNBC report that in the month of April, or like that the entirety of the trade deficit was cut in half?
Yeah, I forgot to bring that one up. Remember that one? Oh, trade deficits are good. It's good, and it's impossible for us to get rid of it. In 1 month, the trade deficit was cut in half. And that's with a lot of tariffs being frozen. These people are so full of shit. I want to hear a damn word for these experts ever again. Emphasis on the X. They were wrong about everything. They said we're going to have inflation by 80%. Inflation went negative for the first time in 6 years. They said the stock market should crash by 80%. It didn't. It's back to the normal. They said income's going to crash. It went up by 1%. And the trade deficit got cut in half in 1 month. So, what are people worried about? I'm confused. I'm seriously confused. What do these people want?
They want to continue exploiting the American consumer base while not providing us with jobs.
Yeah.
And as it turns out, it just doesn't freaking work when the economic data comes out. They have to actually deal with the fact that we have a pro-American worker trade policy. And everybody can just eat sand. Everybody can punch sand. They can eat sand. If the punch sand is the phrase, but they're kind of stupid. So I also say eat sand.
I'm sorry to go off topic, but Tucker Carlson has an interview today with a certain somebody, and it's not a good time for this.
Who's he interviewing?
Glenn Greenwald.
We're not talking about that. Nope. We're not going down that rabbit hole. Nope. For those that know, they know. I did watch a video, thankfully, but
it's bad.
I mean, his interview with Ron Johnson was already pretty poo-poo. And I say this as someone I've donated to Tucker. I've given my money to Tucker. I love Tucker. I don't really get what he's doing right now.
Tucker's Tucker. You know, that's
he's a journalist. I mean, he's like the truest form of journalist. I'll say that much.
Who's
and
that?
Other news, some white woman from Martha's Vineyard thinks that it could be her that gets deported.
Well, funny enough, speaking of that, before I get the super chat, actually, I'll read the super chats real quick. Chance Raising for 5. You guys see those 2 women in Fox trash young men? Good thing no one watches Fox aside from boomers and rhinos. We'll get to that in a minute. That pissed me off a lot, but Jacob Holly for 5. But the experts rap. Neoliberalism must continue, and we need the migrants to pick our crops. Who else will do it? I don't know. A company will innovate.
Those are the experts. Yeah, those experts really think we're.
I don't know. Companies will innovate. They'll treat their employees good. I don't know. like they did for 200 years. These freaking people are stupid.
It's really funny how like all of these these quote unquote free market economists believe in the economy's capacity to create solutions to difficult problems, but when you actually present it with a very solvable problem,
Yeah.
they're just like, oh no, you have to release all of the bond. No, they're just full of shit. They're full of
Guys,
it.
it's like if these it's same thing with people saying Apple can't make a phone here. That's bullshit. I've gone over this a million times. They already make like the iPad or whatever here. So guys, or like the their computer, like the iMac Pro, or whatever. I don't know, the Mac Pro or whatever. I don't know. But the point is, they make shit here already. They're full of crap when they say, "Oh, we need Chinese labor." They just want it cheap. Why do you think they're now moving to India? Why?
At the bare minimum, all semiconductor processing could take place in the United States easily, and with some adaptability and some automation, you can build them all here. It's not a hard equation.
And automation, for those that say, "Oh, but what's the point?" You do realize that that's still a lot of jobs being made. It's just different type of jobs.
Yeah.
These idiots really think, "Oh, we want the sweatshops." No, we're trying to stop that. We're trying to stop the sweatshops in India and China. But these people are just stupid. But okay, speaking of the Martha's Vineyard stuff, so according to The Wired, which again, these idiots have bad reporting sometimes, but apparently remigration may become a policy in the Trump administration soon.
Wow.
According to them, there may be a dedicated office following the Trump administration reorganization of the State Department. We may actually remigration into America.
I mean, that news is hitting me like a dump of bricks. Like, what the crap?
For those that don't know, this is what a lot of people in Europe are pushing for now, which it may happen now, but it's the idea of like, okay, these people who came here, quote unquote, legally, but they're burning on the system, they're costing us a bunch of money each year, they're not assimilating, they gotta remigrate, they gotta go through the whole process again if they want to stay here. So we're gonna deport them. And it sounds like the Trump administration, they may actually do this. They may actually do this. If Trump does this and we like force like a million people or millions of people to remigrate, he'll be a top 5 president for me of all time. Easy.
Yeah, it would be a severe recalibration. I told people my expectations were that we could transition from mass deportations to reducing immigration levels next presidential round. But I mean, if it's going like this and we're talking about remigration,
now
that's a whole new dimension. That's really good for the country. Obviously, look, let's be honest, guys. There's a lot of people in this country who very simply are economic migrants. I don't fault them for seeking a better future for themselves.
I agree.
But we have to understand, they make your pie bigger. They make the economic pie bigger, and they take more away from you. It doesn't matter how much we grow the GDP. If these people are here because they're from the lowest of the lowest of the lowest earnings of the entire planet. And so any economic prosperity that would go to you is actually going to them. It's an unholy deal between the poorest of the planet and the richest of our country.
Yeah.
And it's a direct betrayal of the middle class of this country that is the actual fiber and backbone of the country. And so if you want to support the middle tax brackets, if you want to support the people that actually make America America, and you want to live in a country that feels mildly like America again, then you need to support these people going back. Yeah, it's really simple.
I mean, guys, this is a big deal because we're talking about this now. Now, obviously, I would say focusing on the mass deportations, that's easier, which I think it sounds like what Stephen Miller said. He forced to say, hey, do your damn job, you're fired. That's what he said to the DHS people. And you see, yesterday we had the biggest raid in history, or at least this year. Like 100.
That was so beautiful.
150 people, whatever.
I love Stephen Miller when he plays the bad guy. It's so good.
I mean, like, Stephen Miller, he's not pissing around. He's just saying, okay, you're not doing your job. We should expect 3,000 a day now. Which, that tells me they're going to up that up. When they get the budget through, they're going to probably try to go for 10,000. That's my hot take. They're just saying 1 million per year now. And that's not assuming self-deportations. That's like what we're doing. So Anyways, Charlie Howard for 10. All essential pharmaceutical ingredients should be manufactured here in the U.S. I'm a pharmacy technician, and let me tell you, relying on China for essential medicine is not a good idea. I agree. That should be made 100% here. Why should we rely on China? Because anytime they could just say, "Oh, we're not going to trade you anything. We're not going to give you any drugs." So, but yeah, I find it funny that Stephen Miller's like the day after he threatens them, that's when they have the biggest raid in like a year.
It's really funny to think about how much like power that he actually has in that position. I don't know. He wields it, and it's like you wouldn't think he would have a bunch of power. He's just like a policy advisor.
And
but
people don't like him. I know some people that don't like him for personal petty reasons. Like, dude, listen, I don't care what personal beef you have with the guy. He's doing his damn job. I don't care. I don't care.
He cares about the Trump agenda. He cares about the agenda we voted for, maybe more than anybody else in the building.
Well, he knows that this is his chance to go ham. He doesn't care. It's like, well, I can do whatever I want. Nobody can do anything about it. But yeah, I'm like, if we're trying to get 3,000 per day now, and we're doing the raids now, I'm hoping for it to get up to 10,000 per day. Not including self-deportations. That may sound kind of like a cope or whatever, but that's my hope. But we'll see. We'll see. Chance of Transic for 2. John, what do you think about Mr. Beat challenging Marshall in Kansas? Oh yeah, you hear about that?
I did hear about that. We've talked about it a little bit on the program, but my main, I scoff at it. Of course, you guys know I actually hate Mr. Beat more than most of the other people on this show.
Yeah.
And it's because I like history. I think you guys might have figured out that I like history based off of some of my ramblings. And Mr. Beat, he's like, people see him as like a decent history channel, but at the end of the day, he's a subversive in the way that he explains history. He brings in a heaping ton of bias from academics, and it just disgusts me. He disgusts me on a very basal level.
All right, American Nerd for 5. Breaking for Killing Coolidge Project. Senator Lindsey Graham is meeting with Ukraine President Zelensky in Kiev. What the F is he doing? That's Lindsey Graham for you.
It's the usual stuff.
American
Also,
Nerd
should
for
we
2.
talk about Hawaii?
What did Hawaii do now?
Oh yeah, they're basically taxing tourists for climate change reasons.
What?
Mm-hmm.
Your one industry you got in Hawaii, because they don't make anything there. Actually, do they?
Well, it used to be sugar, but then we
it's
took
like
over.
one of their biggest things is the tourist industry. That's your plan to target them? Gee, what's worse that could happen? It's Hawaii. You can't. Oh my gosh. All right, American Nerd for 2. Should Vance make Miller DHS secretary in 2029? No, because he can't. He would never get the votes. I love Miller, but just keep the post of like, oh, he's totally not in charge. But let's be honest here. He and Tom Homan are running DHS. Let's cut the bullshit they are.
There are just some people that are too good to make it through the nomination process, and that's why these positions exist.
It's like Ed Martin. Oh, he's not the district attorney of DC now. He's the deputy associate attorney general, which basically means he's like the third most powerful person at the DOJ. So it's like, yeah, it's worth it.
And it applies to cruise ship passengers too.
Wow, Hawaii's gonna kill itself economically.
Yeah, I mean, honestly,
Good luck.
Yeah, you know what? Maybe we should just kick him out like Malaysia did to Singapore. Just.
That's real.
Hawaii, you guys are wealthy enough. You guys can be your own country.
Yeah, you got plenty of money.
It's what y'all want, right?
They want independence. And they're going to realize 5 seconds later that, oh, wait a minute, this was a terrible idea.
Remember we illegally conquered you? Don't you guys want independence?
Yeah, you want independence. Go ahead. In other news, everybody, we got some really good news out of the housing market today. So, for the last everyone knows the housing market's been shitty. Everyone knows that. It's been pretty bad. No one can buy a house. Well, there's been a trend the past couple of years where there's been more sellers than buyers for the market. And right now, according to a new report, there are 500,000 more sellers than buyers in the market right now.
Yeah.
You know what that means? The housing shortage is going away slowly but surely.
The Biden economy.
Biden economy, yep. Listen, Please hurry up. I want to see a housing crash for my own personal reasons. All right, American Nerd for 3. Can the GOP ever win Hawaii? They need to change. I mean,
No.
Bush came close in 2004.
It's trending, right?
Yeah.
But it's not anytime soon. No.
Bush came close though.
Not even Tulsi Gabbard would win. Come on, like you guys want Tulsi to be governor? She's a Republican now, and she lives in Texas. So
yeah, I don't think she's gonna. I don't think she's gonna be a governor there.
yeah, they probably hate her. I think her dad's still a state senator or something.
Yeah, he's a very he has some interesting takes. But yeah, so overall, guys, it looks like inflation is really going down. The housing market's starting to stabilize a lot. Good. I mean, this is what Trump wanted. He really wanted to get this under control right away, which it took a little bit, but if he could actually get the housing market under control, that alone's going to deal with like half the problems. Like half the problems are dealt with. And I'm starting to wonder, is this because the deportations or people just leaving?
It could possibly be that. It could be a multitude of things. The entire country is being restructured in a way.
I guess, yeah.
And we are getting different things. I do want to make this emphasis, and this is like an emphasis to everybody listening in chat. If you have housing problems in your local area, it is really important that you understand that engaging in local politics will impact the prices of housing in your area a lot. Like the federal government cannot do a whole bunch to change housing prices, but it looks like we're doing good.
So,
Looks like the federal government's doing good. But just please if you want housing prices in your area to go down, be involved in your local politics.
The only thing that Trump can really do, which it looks like it's working, is really regulations. There are some insane regulations they went after. And deportations. I've been trying to tell people for months about this. Inflation's going down because we're getting rid of people. Wow, there's less people in America and things are cheaper because these people need medicine, these people need food. We talked a lot about this. And people still think, oh, deporting people will not cause no inflation. Yes, it will. Because let's say, how many people have left America under Trump right now? Just as of now. How many people you guys think? Including
2,000, I think.
What?
Some thousands.
Well, okay, let's just say, if you include people that self-deported, which we won't know ever, but let's just say 500,000, okay? That self-deported that left in the last couple of months. And they got deported, actually. That's 500,000 less people that need food, that need housing, that need medical stuff. You see the ordeal with that? You see the problem, or the good news? That's people that don't need that stuff now. Common sense. Common freaking sense.
Anyway, some other news.
Again, sorry, I was just going to really quick add on to him. I always recommend, like, not everybody listens to everything JD Vance says like I do. So go and listen to him talk at like the cities conference. He talks about housing a good bit there, and he actually defends his position on how self-deportations help the housing market. So
it does.
Yeah,
Easily.
so just watch that. Watch JD Vance at the cities conference. Look for that on YouTube.
Yeah, I mean, guys, because people, again, we made a whole, I think we had like 2 streams on this subject back in February and March. It's like, just go watch that. I pulled the graphs. The more people you have in a country, especially when you import everybody at once, it's not like it's naturally growing. No, when you import a bunch of people like this, yeah, you're going to have inflation. But when you have a sudden surge of people leaving, housing goes down. That's more houses being open, more apartments, food being more cheaper. So that's what I just want to bring up. So,
all right. So what I want to bring up is a couple minor pieces of news, but Cory Booker is releasing a book soon.
He's running for president.
About a speech. Yeah.
Great.
And Stacey Abrams is launching a Substack page.
Can the Substack hold on to her? Can withstand her?
Yeah, but my guess is that a Substack page, does that mean governor?
I don't know.
I forgot there was a live stream going on. I was just at a meeting with AFP people. How's it going?
Hey,
hello. So,
I think we're about to end it, but
no,
yeah,
we're going for a little bit longer.
Okay.
But guys,
Thank you, because you have a habit of if I come in late, you guys just end it right away. So thank you.
we're going for a little bit longer. We're going.
Okay.
W.
Quick reminder, chat, if you want any questions or whatever answer, make sure to send super chats. We got some. It sounds like Trump's having a press conference with Elon a little bit, but I want to talk
Yes,
about
this
this.
is his last day. This is Elon's last day in office.
Hallelujah! Hallelujah! He's gone.
All
Let's
right.
fucking go.
Anyways, I want to talk about something that happened to Fox News yesterday. I think a lot of people saw this. People that follow my Twitter account, they did. Everyone
I
else.
follow you, but I didn't see it.
What?
I said I follow your Twitter account, but I didn't see it.
Wow. Thank you, Luke. For real though. So, hold on. Jacob Holly for 10. I just thought, what's going to happen to all the old boomers that Gen X passed away? The housing market's going to buckle because young people can't afford the house prices, so those prices will collapse. Oof. Well, no. What's happening is boomers are hoarding it. They're hoarding their houses right now. That's a real thing. They're purposely inflating the price of their value, and the BlackRock's buying the other stuff. So
you have to remember that these exchanges can happen between major companies and, you know, old people, boomers, and none of the housing has to pass down to actual people using it, because in some ways, you know, housing is a very stable and reliable asset. If you start thinking of housing more like gold or like a precious metal that you would hoard, then you kind of understand the problem with the housing market. This is what's happening there. We've had a bunch of policies on every level of government that artificially inflate the cost of housing, and everybody, the boomers benefit from it, the major corps benefit from it, foreign agents benefit from it, Americans suffer. And that's the problem. And hopefully we get to a better place. We're trying to deregulate, we're trying to get red tape out, and then we're also trying to there's a bunch of policy decisions being made by the administration that will help this situation.
I'll build my own house then. That might be the play. Again, I won't like look into it obviously, but at this point, I mean, unless the market just crashes tomorrow, which it looks like it's starting to a little bit. Yeah, I would just say wait if you can, but we'll see. But okay, let's talk about what happened to Laura Ingraham. Everyone's who saw this last night? What Laura Ingraham and what's her name? What's her freaking name? Tommy Lauren is her name?
I think I'm guessing, yeah.
So
Tommy Lauren on Laura Ingraham.
This might be the most pathetic thing I've ever seen. So you have somebody that Ingraham's like what, 68, right? She's up there in age.
Yeah, I guess so.
Tommy Lauren is 32, doesn't have any kids or whatever, and they basically went on Fox News and they bashed young people. They bashed Gen Z men, calling them stay-at-home sons.
You're lazy. Yeah.
Are you fucking serious right now?
I do anything but stay at home. I mean, I don't even. Well, dude, I'm graduating high school tomorrow. You know, so and
Nice.
I'd say I'm anything but lazy personally. You know, I've driven in 72 counties since I got this Jeep in October, helping out the Republican Party, the conservative movement. So I don't know how I'm lazy. I'm definitely not a stay.
I mean,
I'm not claiming you. I'm talking about Lauren, the bitch on Fox News.
I mean, this is insane. So basically, you have older women complaining about young men. Did you guys not learn what the Democrat Party did? Why do you think young men voted Republican for the first time ever? Why? Or at least in modern history. Why do you think they did that? Because Trump offered them something different, and Democrats were bashing them. And now you're getting these two dumbasses who... What's the point? Again, I'm not saying every Gen Z man is like, you know, a man. Like, yeah, obviously I get that. Like, a lot of Gen Z men are, anyways. But... they're just attacking young men for no reason.
A very astute commentator on X pointed out that Laura Ingraham is a single mother, and Tommy Lauren is a childless 32-year-old woman.
Yeah.
So neither of these people are building necessarily successful families. Neither of these people are necessarily contributing to the nuclear family or to social cohesion, societal stability. They're just bitter for various reasons, and neither of them are married to a man at this moment. I actually think Tommy Lauren explicitly had like a really attractive partner and she like he was supposed to be a decent guy, and she dumped him. So this is like
She's
bitter
full of
resents
shit.
between there's bitter resent between a millennial woman and a Gen X / boomer woman.
Shit like this is why a lot of young men don't want to talk to women. Why, honestly, why else? Why would they? Just so they could bash you for being, oh, you're lazy, you're horrible. I wonder why men
Why
are
would
not.
I talk to women when I could cover the Polish election?
But no, seriously, it's like, this is why a lot of young men are just like depressed. They gave up on life. I mean, who would want it? Who would want this? If you're a natural keeping back bash men like this.
Well, I come from a bunch of more traditional communities, whether it's my church life or whether it's from like online people or whatever, or just the people that I'm friends with in real life. I come from more traditional backgrounds, and there is this really pernicious fault that happens with older men who have already been married and had families, and with older Gen X people and millennials. They look at the struggles of the young men, and instead of trying to actually like kind of empathize with them, instead of trying to like figure out how they can push themselves up, lift them up with their own resources or with their own time or their own experience, instead usually they think that if they browbeat and kind of beat down the men, that like they'll grow tough, like they'll sharpen like a diamond in the rough. And it's something I'm very familiar with it. Like again, I'm Orthodox Christian. There's a lot of men, like Gen X men and millennial men in the Orthodox communities that act like this, and it's actually really despicable. I of course, obviously, not meaning it for myself. My successes and my failures are my own. I own up to that fully. But the whole thing about it is I just see a lot of guys down on their luck that have legitimate reasons that they just hadn't, gotten exactly where society told them they're supposed to be. And none of this helps them. Browbeating does not help them. And again, it's one of these things we have to accept. We're not accepting oppressor-oppressed dichotomies. We're not becoming woke. We're just admitting simple facts. The government has been discriminating against us. The government has been explicitly employing hiring practices so that people like us don't get hired. It's one of those things where it's like, and even the whole way the education system is structured against the prosperity of young men. Yeah. It's actually extremely biased towards women. That is why there's a bajillion more women graduating from college, and that's why there's like a giant gap. There's like a waving gap between women that are able to actually go and get like own homes and men that are capable of owning homes. There's a bunch more young women owning homes than men owning homes, and nobody seems to understand why that gender gap exists. And it's because of the education.
Also,
it's because of the system.
Don't like way more women go to college now too? That's another thing.
And again, that's what I'm talking about. The education system, the way it's structured and the way that it's geared, is biased against men. And it's just one of those things. Like we don't have to be victims. We don't have to be woke. Let's accept facts. And I just ask people of that generation, of like the Tomi Lahren and Laura Ingraham generations, cut the guys some slack and figure out, like, try to have some empathy for the people that the other side is demonizing and browbeating every single day. Do you think that after like a whole day of Democrats telling us we're evil, demonic monsters, we want Republicans to just come back and be like, oh, yeah,
I'm going to say this. I said this on Twitter yesterday. Here's my warning to these dumbasses. Young men are a big reason Republicans won in 2024. We need to stop voting. Just we're not going to vote. Good luck with your strategy. Good luck trying to win over with who do they got? Who do they got to vote for them? Because not with young men, if they just keep bashing us like this.
Old boomer women.
Good luck.
Boomer women.
Good luck.
And African Americans. That's their base.
That's your strategy.
As I call it, the Oreo Coalition.
Oh my gosh. Jacob Hawley for 10. I work in the paper mill industry in Fredonia. I'm 23. Fox News absolutely blows. Old women complaining about young men. Seriously, get a job outside of news. Cry more, you neocons. Boo-hoo. American Nerd for 10. I live with my parents because I can't afford to live anywhere else right now, even with 2 part-time jobs. But these bozos think I'm lazy. What the F? Did Tomi Lahren call herself a pro-church Republican? Yeah. She's a pro-choice Republican, for crying out loud.
I mean, I'm not a pro-choice Republican. I'm just a electable Republican.
Gosh. But, it's like, guys, I know plenty of guys, like, our age, like, young 20s and stuff. They have a part-time job. It sucks. They can't get a full-time job either. And they're just stuck. What are they? Is it their fault? Is it their fault they have a shitty part-time job they can't get out of? Because there's no one actually hiring anybody? Really? And the only people that can get a job now is basically H-1B visa people. People that have H-1B visas.
Or if you have connections, or if you get into politics. I found out you get into politics and know your shit, it's actually very easy to get job opportunities there. But I understand, most people don't want to go into politics, and that's fine, because it fucking sucks.
Yeah. Well, it's like, seriously, a lot of young men, people are like early 20s, like Gen Z men, they're getting screwed. And you're gonna bash them for being lazy? Guys, there's plenty of people I know, they're great, they had good grades and stuff, they had a college degree. They can't get anything but a part-time job right now. They can't.
Don't you understand, Rap? They need to pull themselves up by their bootstraps, okay? That's what the baby boomers did. They paid off their student loans back when it was like $1,000.
Yeah, $1,000. They made $10,000 a year.
And Tester is asking, like, okay, well, who cares? Make yourself the best out of it. Absolutely. I think that the best thing you can do as a man, take every productive thought that you have and generate it. Any thought that's like bad or despairful or anything like that, just throw it away. Throw away every single negative thought that you have. Yeah. And if you can't build up the discipline for yourself, do stuff like what Tyrone did. Go and like enlist in the National Guard, enlist in the Army. Like, you can get yourself disciplined through the military or whatever else. Just do what you have to do to become a fortified man. And if you need help, go reach out for that help. And this is part of the problem. The reason we're talking about this is because the older generations that already, quote, got theirs in a slightly better environment than the one that the Gen Z kids are in. And the older you get, the better it is. Like, the better and better the environment is. But these people that were in a better environment and got theirs and figured stuff out, they love to like wax poetic against the Zoomer men. And that is not, there's a demoralizing factor to it. Okay. So like, imagine every other protected category and group in society that gets treated like a little baby bird, gets special grants for housing and education. And we look at all of those other protected categories that get treated like that. And then you see men just being treated like waste bins, like trash, like absolute garbage. And we're not saying that that's an excuse for you to not do anything with your life. I absolutely agree. Like, be as productive as possible. Only productive thoughts, throw out your bad thoughts. But if these people want to help young men, they are not going to do it pulling out the baseball bats and beating them more.
So someone in chat says that they have an aerospace degree and they can't get a job, even with that. I mean, like, I've heard some things like this. Like, are you serious? You can't get a job with an aerospace degree? I mean, that's a job market right now. And these older people, they don't get it. They don't understand why young men are having issues with everything. They can't buy a house. Oh, they're living with their parents. Have you seen the housing market? Have you? All right, Shades is raising for 2. Iowa voter roll number, so much for blue Iowa. Yeah, it just gets worse by the second. But yeah, it just, like, at this point, I don't know how, like, we get all this mindset that these boomers have. Well, I just wait till they die off, I guess. But the point is, I don't know. This philosophy is stupid. It's unhealthy. It's causing depression with young men. A lot of young men are more depressed now. It's not because
and from the voting perspective, the party angle, I think, is really important. If we're talking, let's talk politics instead of culture. If you want to get men to get out and vote, because, like, again, women still vote more than men right now.
Yeah.
And we could change the entire electoral map just with a couple percent more men voting every election cycle. If these political actors on TV and in Congress actually just stopped and started having more empathy for young men, they would vote more.
Yeah, they would vote more. I mean, like, guys, why do you think Trump won in 2024? Why do you think he won? He was offering an optimistic future for people. He was offering a future that they were hopeful for.
Yeah, if you're a politician, all you have to do to fucking is be like, hey, look, you guys are not actually demonic. You're not pieces of shit. I'm going to invest in your trade. I'm going to invest in your education. I'm going to invest in your capacity to buy a first home. I'm going to try to actually make it easy for you to accomplish all the things that your parents effortlessly did, that it's actually just really insurmountable for you to fucking do. Like, that's all you have to do. That's all you have to do is you just have to look at young men and be like, hey, we're going to actually make the field advantageous for you. And it's like, if you just actually came with that message and you not even giving them special benefits or special grants or anything, just being like, I'm going to make the playing field better for you, then men would vote for you.
All right, right guy for 5. From my experience at work, the Dollar Tree was awful, was treated like shit with the Home Depot, and that is far better. Well, that's a problem. It's like a lot of these part-time jobs, they suck. And the problem is you can't get anything better. It's an endless cycle.
There is an inherent lack of dignity in the consumer market jobs that we have that will be fixed if we do onshore production. If we do get manufacturing, there is a greater dignity to those jobs. I'm sorry. It's just very simple. Working 2 full-time jobs or like a part-time DoorDash, Grubhub bullshit, that does not feel like real man work. But if men go to real work and produce real things and they feel real meaning in the things that they do, they will perform better and they will feel better and they will actually just make more things. They will make more children. They will buy more houses. Like, things will get better if better jobs exist for the men today. The jobs are too effeminate. The jobs are too emasculated. This consumer market is destroying the soul of men. I genuinely believe that. And I think that the country will get more masculine if we do succeed in onshoring jobs.
I mean, and just like make where the American dream is feasible again. I mean, a lot of people they think the American dream is dead. Like their parents, their grandparents, they were able to live it. They're not able to. They're not able to live it because we have such a shitty system. But what Trump won in 2016 because of that. Because everyone realized the system was god awful. Oh, everything's perfectly fine. No, it wasn't. No, it wasn't. So I'm just like, I'm glad that people are waking up to this idea that, oh, wait a minute, young men are not terrible. Oh, wait a minute, young men are getting shafted big time. They can't get a job worth a damn. The only jobs that are available are the shittiest jobs in society. Like, the absolute worst. You get no good pay, the conditions suck, they treat you like garbage, and you don't work that much. So what's the point?
And when I think about like men's psychology, men don't need a whole lot. I don't think you actually need to give a bunch of free crap to men, just like how they give free crap to all of these protected categories. I just think you need to give men a few kind words and give them the hope that they can do well. And I think they will pursue, and I think they will go the long way. I have a lot of faith in the men of America, but they need to know that the system, the government, the education, the teachers, that they don't fucking hate them. That's all they need. They need to know, they need to be told that they are not hated and that they are actually beneficial to society. And right now, half of the government, half of the politicians are sitting around trying to break their balls on a daily basis. Fuck that. And that's what men are saying. And that's why men are becoming Republican. But Republicans need to do better. They need to do better at catering towards this very easily tapped into audience.
Yep. Abraham Fireman for 10. I work remote from my parents' home. It pays better than most jobs in my area and save gas. I can apply my creativity instead of working someplace that treats me like crap. I wish I could move out though. And that's the problem. It's like, yeah, there's some jobs out there that exist that you can be happy with and you make money. Problem is, you're stuck in a cycle. You can't move out. You're stuck there because the housing market sucks. Unless you're like worth a lot of money. Mike for 2.
Yeah.
Oh, sorry.
No, I was going to say, this is like practical advice. The easiest way to get out of your parents' home for like a guy, if you're, like a standard deviation above like the average intelligence, try to dabble a little bit in day trading. Just start with a few $100 and see if you can start building up money. See how much money you can make in a day doing day trading. And if you can make a decent amount, you can start building up a passive income with stuff like that. And the other thing I would say is look at ways to accumulate passive income, because there are ways. Passive income helps immensely with paying for like if you want to go and rent or something.
Mike for 2, take on Atlas poll, also new Democrat oversight candidate. Mike for 2, honestly think blue collar work is the way to go. It is, but Trump's trying to build that up. Yeah, Atlas Intel is a new poll. -10 approval. And the generic ballot's D+9. What the hell? Atlas Intel shit out a D+9 generic ballot. And approval -10.
That is so weird. Like, do you think they just took a dump after the 2024 elections? What's going on there?
I don't know. I mean, there's been some. Listen, I'm not going to listen. Do not question Atlas Intel because they're right. But I'm starting to wonder. It's just such a weird time because it's not an election. I don't know.
But like, we're seeing really good numbers from like McLaughlin and Rasmussen and RMG and like.
Big Dad.
So I'm really confused. Like all of our other pollsters are giving us very different information, and Atlas Intel, for some reason, in spite of like doing so freaking well last year, they are making strange.
They're saying
predictions.
Trump's approval went down compared to April. What? By almost 5 points? April was just okay. That something doesn't seem right. Something doesn't seem right. Rye Guy for 2 at Home Depot. I have more of a chance. But go on.
No, all I was going to say is just like, it's okay, even if they're the most accurate pollsters, to point out the fact is like, they're skewing really heavily from all of the other data points. And you have to you have to raise an eyebrow. It doesn't matter how good their track record is.
It's an outlier. We'll see. If other polls show the same thing, then yeah, they're right. But yeah, it seems kind of strange to find this. But okay, everybody. So we reached the donation goal. Thank you all so much for that. Again, it just be a goal. You know, if we reach it, we reach it. But thank you all so much for that. So if anyone got any more super chats, any more questions, concerns, send them now. Last calls for super chats, folks. Last calls for super chats. But yeah, I do think that young men, just treat young men better. Don't treat them like the bottom of society, like the absolute dirt of society. Because you know what's gonna happen.
They don't.
Oh,
what's gonna happen?
You know what's gonna happen? Young men will just give up. That they won't care, and your entire system that you built up for yourselves, it'll fall apart. Because you need young men.
I've seen you're 100, 200% correct. I've seen a lot of guys give up, go into despair. I've seen them do horrible things to themselves. I've seen them mutilate themselves, either through chemical castration or through other methods. There is a great deep depression. There's a high suicide rate among men. And that's what I'm saying. I don't actually think men need a billion benefits like these other categories of people have been getting from the federal government. I think they need love. I think they need positive attention. I think they need to be given an even playing field. And if you give them that and you tell them, hey, we don't hate you and we think you're important to society, I actually think you'll get so much more done with men. And I think they'll vote more. And then we might actually fix the fucking country. So please stop shitting on men. Stop shitting on men.
Yeah, just have positivity. Because if you're positive, what Trump's campaign was, like, yeah, he said, like, we have a really bad, everything sucks right now, everything's going to shit. But then he turned around and said, we have a brightful future. We have a hopeful future of, like, you get a job, you could buy a house, you could start a family, and he didn't say directly, but basically you could start a family of one income. That was the stuff he was pushing for. And that's why he won. That's why he did great with Hispanics, African Americans, Asians. Wow, it's as if you treat people good, they'll vote for you. Wow, what a shocking turn of events. But yeah, I do think overall people are waking up. So, Chance Drazik for 2, Insider Advantage Trump +3, very accurate last year. Yeah, if Insider Advantage having that, I don't know. We'll see. Maybe Alice Intel in a bad poll, we'll see. But okay, I think that's it for the stream, guys. Thank you all so much for supporting the stream. Thank you all so much for liking and sharing. Make sure to like and share the video after it ends. If you guys did enjoy, actually, quick super chat. Jake Holly for 5. Congress must pass the big bill to Doge cuts. Pass anything, don't just sit on it and do nothing. Maybe if I start voting Democrat, they'll scare them. So again, Mike Johnson explained this. The big, beautiful budget, it's only for mandatory spending. So that's the only way we can do it. The Doge cuts are going to come next week. They're
going to do discretionary spending cuts through Doge. There are going to be cuts. It's really important that we get a bill passed if you want the economy to grow, if you want the GDP to grow. Like, if you want the actual real economy to grow, the tax cuts need to pass. It's more important that the tax cut pass than we, fix the budget and the deficit right now. It is way more important that we get the economy going because it's in a bad spot. When the economy is booming, I think like in the next years, it makes a lot more sense to do more cutting, but we really need Trump's campaign promises passed. And
that's gonna give
if the
confidence.
Senate does, if the Senate does not deliver on this, if they betray Trump's base, it is a bad, bad day for the Republican Party next year. Good fucking luck. Do not do that. That's the whole thing. And again, I want to say that because I don't think I've said that yet on stream, but I've been saying it in tweets. I've been saying a lot. I genuinely think these people trying to obstruct the bill want Trump's campaign promises to not pass.
Yes, that's true.
In one form or another. Rand Paul was directly railing against border security and deportation funding. And when you go and you listen to a couple of the other ones, like Ron Johnson, I listened to a lot of Ron Johnson over the past week, and it sounds like he very explicitly just doesn't want to actually pass Trump's tax cuts. That is what I am currently reading. He wants it in a separate vote, and I think he wants it in a separate vote so he can shoot it down. That's really it.
I like Johnson, dude. Guys, listen. I understand you want the cuts, but there's only so much you can do with the current majority, and it's still a cut. This bullshit of it's going to increase the deficit by $4 trillion. Stephen Miller explained this. It's not raising jack shit. The OCB, whatever it's called, they're full of crap. They're claiming, well, the tax cuts, which are extensions to the Trump tax cuts, they're extending the tax cuts. But that's going to decrease revenue? That's bullshit. They're just full of crap. They're lying. That's not accounting for economic growth. They're lying. They said the same thing about Trump's tax cuts in 2017. It's going to decrease revenue. It's skyrocketed revenue. It's just spending went up more. This bill, we want more, obviously, but the other cuts are coming next week. That's the only way to do it. And people like Rand Paul know that, and they're full of crap. They're lying. Oh, we have to pass those cuts. Then vote on it. You know what's going to happen? Thomas Massie and Rand Paul, they're going to vote no on the rescission package. Watch. Out of principles. They're going to vote no. But my rant's over.
It's just a big stupid game. It's a big stupid game, and I wish they would stop playing with the things we voted for. That is what offends me the most. I am not offended by fiscal conservatism. I am not offended by pointing out the fact that Congress sucks and they can't actually pass a good bill. I am not offended by any of that. And I'm not offended by people pointing out the fact that our government is kind of doomed without a large change in how we handle finances. At the end of the day, people voted for something, and you guys are trying to reject it. You're trying to reject border security, wall funding, deportations, and you're trying to reject Trump's tax cuts, the things that got him elected with the first popular vote victory for Republicans in 20 fucking years. And it's really, really aggravating that the senators seem to not only want to blame Trump for their own failures for the past 2 decades, but also simultaneously want him to fail. I cannot stand that. I can't. And so just at the end of the day, I'm putting fiscal conservatism to the side because I want us to succeed. I want us to win. I want good results, and we will marginally improve things with this bill.
I'm just Rand Paul's got to go. Thomas Massie's done. I mean, seriously, you're going to vote against border security? When you're getting the biggest welfare reform ever, bigger than the 90s. It's bigger than the 90s, and they're voting against it. They're voting against it because, border security. At least you could argue that maybe Collins wants something different. At least that's what she's doing. These idiots are doing it because they want to spite Trump. They want to spite the Orange Man. Freaking dumbasses.
Do you I know libertarians might be really upset next year if these people do get kicked out of their seats. Listen, I don't hate you if you're a libertarian. I actually like talking to many libertarians, But the problem is it's ideas versus results. And we're looking for results. The Libertarians have had decades to try and produce results. They failed. They failed. They failed. And we're trying to get results. And Trump is the leader of the party, and he is not a fiscal conservative. I'm sorry. I am sorry that you are in this predicament, but your behavior is being reflected on, and the MAGA voting base, the actual voting base of the Republican Party, is looking at you taking a giant crap all over everything we wanted. And we're saying, you know what? No, fuck you. Get out. And so if there are no libertarians in the fucking caucuses, in the Congress going into 2027, it's their own fucking fault. I am very sorry to tell you.
Because they died in the hill of quote-unquote principles. If all they had to do was just say, listen, we want more cuts. Try to work with the caucus. That's all they had to do. Just work with them. And instead, they went down this rabbit hole of, no, I get everything I want, or I'm going to vote no. It could be... Thomas Massey's the person that would say he would vote no on a bill that cuts spending by $4.9 trillion because it's not $5 trillion. He would do that. He would do that shit. So, check out what Kelvin Coolidge Project posted. Yeah, so President Biden, former President Biden, he declared that I'm mentally incompetent and I can't walk, and I can beat the hell out of both of them. What? What? Is he talking about, like, Jake Tapper? Or the other guy?
Yeah.
Great. Okay, I think that's enough of that. Again, just, the principal people gotta go away. Give it to Thomas Massey. Warren Davidson I'm fine with. He's good on most issues, and he's doing this for valid reasons, but Rand Paul's full of shit. Thomas Massey, they're full of crap. Alright, we'll see you guys in the next stream, video, or wherever you see us at. It was an extra long stream, but I can't get over the fact that Biden called himself incompetent and he can't walk. Alright, one final super chat. Man Milk for 2. Paleo-libertarian short lib pipeline win. That's Thomas Massey. Watch, in 2028, he's gonna be at the DNC convention. Watch. It's gonna happen. He's gonna support, like, Harris or whatever. Because of God knows what. And speaking of Thomas Massey, you guys see what he said today? Want to see what he said? Let me pull this up. Thomas Massey. He still follows me for some reason. Yeah, so he's making a big deal with the grifters online. I mean, seriously. What a loser.
Yeah, like in the middle of campaign like he's, oh yeah, we want to expose people's campaign finances. Well, we have to expose all of the anons that are hating on me. Oh my gosh. He wants like people to have to prove like who's funding them on X. And he's gonna figure out that like we don't get funded by anyone. Yeah. We just actually hate him.
I'm funded by the people. So
yeah, and Thomas Massey today once again, trying to suggest line item suggestions. There is a very distinct reason why the Big Beautiful Bill is a singular Big Beautiful Bill. There was at one point when they were thinking of trying to do it in 2 parts, but this is a 1-part Big Beautiful Bill. The reason is because it gets harder and harder and harder to actually pass any of this crap once you break it up into a bunch of different bills. Thomas Massey knows this. He knows that if we did things exactly how he's suggesting we do them, that these bills would never reach Trump's desk. And the taxes would all increase. He knows it. He knows it.
And the thing is, he is citing the CBO yet again. Well, let me look this up. I guarantee in the past, he's called the CBO for being full of shit. Let's see. Let's see.
Yeah, libertarians using leftist dialogue, going on leftist news channels, using leftist sources to try and prove their libertarian right principles really makes you think. It really makes you... It's a real head scratcher, isn't it, folks?
Guys, the CBO is full of crap. They've lied so much. They're never correct. And you're going to listen to them? Change with Drasic for 2. You know who else talked about principles? McCain, yeah. And McCain right now is... He's looking up right now. That's what I'm saying. Man Milk for 2. Wrap the Massey. I'm funded by Man Milk. Well, yeah, I'm not funded by anybody but the viewers. I literally have nobody funding me except viewers. So. And, I don't know. And Thomas Massey, I can't wait for people to realize that he's funded by like one of the biggest like Zionists in America. Like one of his biggest organizations is Zionist or whatever.
Yeah. The chair of it, like the head of it, is, anyways. But like the point I would make is like, I don't actually. I like libertarians existing in federal government. I like libertarians being there. I feel like they have good ideas. I don't like the idea of succumbing to the moderate Republican part because I have about as much contempt for them as the libertarians. The problem right now is that the libertarians are being the obstruction. They are joining together with the Democrats and the leftists to try and destroy everything we voted for and everything that we tried to get. They are holistically against the agenda. And all they have to do is actually just go along with it. If they just went along with Trump's tariffs, if they just went along with some of these promises and tried to integrate libertarian principles into the gaps and spaces where they can, they would do so much better than making themselves grandstanding opposition to the Republican Party. They would do so much better. And I am afraid a lot of these people that are well-meaning people, sometimes they're good people, they're going to lose all their seats, and we're going to have no more libertarians in the Republican Party. And I refuse to blame Trump for that. I refuse to blame Vance for that. It is solely their fault for not playing the game. They are not playing politics the right way. They have screwed themselves. They have nobody to blame but themselves. And I just want you guys to, that's my witness, bear witness next year when they lose their fucking seats, because that is 100% on them.
All right, so I think that's it, guys. I do got in the stream here. Thank you all so much for watching. We'll see you guys in the next stream, video, wherever you see us at.